They say it took 6 days to make the Earth. How did they know it was 6? How can you even define a day before you knew what a day was?
Let me start by saying I've seen all of the shows of season 2. It's real good. I really enjoyed that you guys embraced more of the whole and more of the time travelness, what the whole can offer.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you're intrigued. I'm glad that you're jazzed by it. I think it's funny because as an algorithm, the word that we all hate right now, as an algorithm, I think in the beginning, especially because of Yellowstone and kind of Westerns coming around, the kind of focus was like, let's stay on the family drama. And we don't want to scare people away by the sci-fi elements or the absurdist elements of what we're creating here, which I think is completely shifted and changed, a la Dune. That could be one of the reasons. And it was the thing that intrigued me the most, the idea of the whole and the relationship to this thing that what does it represent? The thing that sucks you into confronting the thing that you want to confront the least. And it creates kind of colorful behavioral reactions. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what this is, but it sounds like we can create some really good shit out of it. So let's start designing this.
One of the things with season 2 is Royal is now an open book, where in season 1, he was so guarded. So talk a little bit about what it's like, how much did you enjoy being able to explore, you know what I mean? Because Royal is just a different person.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole thing is that was the kind of the first season you go, how do I dramatize the quiet? People are holding things in, they're keeping things to themselves, especially Royal, who's helming the whole thing. And then he finally reveals his secrets. He finally gets honest. And I think that he hopes that everybody's reaction is going to be more of a celebration and an ease. And it's quite the opposite. It throws people into this chaotic recalibration. And I don't know, it's just a more extroverted series now. I think it was a very introverted series in the first season. I think it's much more extroverted now.
Talk a little bit about how, when Charles came in as the new showrunner for season 2, how much were you guys figuring out, okay, where is it going to go in season 2 and then season 3 if we get to do it? And how much are you sort of just figuring it out now? Let's just get this season done and we'll think about season 3 if we get to make it.
I think we did. We focused on season 2 and the things that we felt really worked in season 1 and things that we wanted to kind of, piggyback on and things that needed figuring out. There was kind of an elusiveness to the first season that I think was intriguing, but not sustainable. And we had to get more specific about what that meant to us and the architecture of that. So, and now we have timelines, and now we have, an emotional kind of reason for it. And and I love doing it with him, man. I don't know what it was about Charles. I don't know why I feel such a brotherhood with him, but it was instantaneous. We Zoomed for the first time. We just started geeking out. I think it's two guys in their mid to late 50s who just don't give a anymore and just want to geek out on storytelling.
I'm going to say you guys did a really good job. So
Thanks.
How did you end up directing episode 6? Was it almost going to be a different episode? Like, how did you decide on that one?
I didn't decide on that. And I think that was a Charles thing. And I don't know why it was necessarily episode 6 and not, if we go into another season and we, is it going to be the first episode? Is it going to be the first 2 episodes? Like that, I think 6 felt like let's give this guy a shot and let's not make it an essential episode, even though it is an essential episode. It's turned out to be that. But that was instigated by Charles, I think. I think that was really instigated by Charles. And it's something that I couldn't get out of my own way to do. I think around the time that I was doing No Country, my head was going there, and then it kind of got waylaid by a lot of job offers and all that kind of stuff. I had more fun directing than I probably have doing anything else in my life other than parenting.
It's a big statement. Does this mean like a feature is in your future?
We're developing a feature right now that I'm directing, and so I can't not do it because everybody says that. Oh, I have a passion project. I don't have any passion projects. I just want to continue doing, we have a play that we wrote that we're doing a reading of that we might do at Ojai. We have this book that's coming out, obviously. We have this book that's out, we're directing. So I think it's just me. It's the play, the book, the directing. It's about like a time that it's almost like saying, look, you have a lot to say, get out of your own way and just say it. Just do it now. And I think Charles picked up on that and said, you need to direct an episode. And I was very happy to do it.
I want to do some spoiler questions with you that are going to run after the show is out, so you do not have to worry.
Okay.
What was your reaction? What do you want to tell people about the finale and how you got there and what you're excited about?
To me, again, it's almost like opera at the end. Do you know what I mean? He gets put back, Perry's back. You have you've had these suicides. It feels like this kind of big, over dramatic opera to me. And it sets it up for a third season, I think, really well in the fact that anything can happen at this point. There's nobody, even, because it's a spoiler, Noah dies. But nobody has to die forever in this show.
That's the thing I want to ask you. So one of the most interesting things is that in season 2, you have minor things that can happen to a character where like their nose gets adjusted based on, like getting punched, right? But then you have Perry, who is now back to where before, not Trevor, I forget the name of the son who gets killed. Trevor. And now, like, is he in an alternate timeline, or is he about to create the biggest ripple of them all that's going to go forward?
Yeah, which I love. Like everything that you just said, I love, and that's what Charles and I would sit down and we would literally illustrate and go through: is where's this person here? Where can they end up? Where can we crosshatch? What does it mean behaviorally? Does it actually work? Does it make sense? And I think that a season 3 could be extremely compelling in that way.
My thing is, did you guys talk about the fact that the whole can branch timelines and that Perry might be permanently over here?
Not initially, but and as you go on, and you may have asked this earlier, as you go, yeah, you did. It's like, are you getting into season 3? And it's like, dude, there's so much going on in season 2 that why would you worry yourself with season 3? There was the thing that I told Charles in the beginning is I said, look, I would love everything written by the time we start season 2. So I would like to know where we're going throughout season 2. And he was like, oh, yeah, I think knowing very well that was never going to happen. And once we were, maybe we had 3 or 4 episodes written, and thank God, because it would dictate to us more where it wanted to go and what the possibilities were. Had we figured it out earlier, I think it would have been way less compelling.
So one of the cool shots is when Wayne is realizing that Perry is time traveling. Yeah. So I'm just curious, do you think Wayne is figuring all this shit out as it's going? Or do you think Wayne has figured out more about the whole than the audience has realized?
No, but also he has this thing, and I don't know what it suggests to the norm, but he's on the dust.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
When it happens. So in this day and age of ayahuasca and microdosing and mushrooms, I don't know. Do people feel like, oh, is this something that I'm making up in my head, or is this tapping me into a part of myself and a knowledge and that we don't know until we tap into it, which is obviously what hallucinogens have been utilized for as far back as it goes. So I don't know if he's piecing it together. I think if there's one character that's smart enough, as insane as he comes across, that could piece it together early on, it's him.
Yeah, I'm very curious if he's ahead of the audience, or did you guys discuss anything that you just realized wouldn't fit in the season and, but you have it written down and maybe it'll be used in the future?
Yes.
Is it a lot?
Yeah, there was a lot that was discarded. And it wasn't discarded. There was a lot that was put aside. Yes, there was tons of stuff that was talked about.
One of the other things that I loved was how the show takes place, 100 and something years ago on like like a Native American reservation.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys did that. Talk a little bit about adding that to season 2.
I mean, that was something that, you have Tamara in the show who is Indigenous. We're in this setting. Why would you not? You have access to timelines. Why would you not go back and explore a culture, a whole demographic of people that we've been incredibly disrespectful to in the worst, most torturous ways, and not go back and explore their cultures? First and foremost. And I think we talked about that with Heather Ray, who's an executive producer on the show. We talked about it, Charles being African American. It's just something that it's an obviousness that you can't deny and that you can't begin to explore. So I'm glad that we got into it. When I did Young Writers in my early 20s, I was deeply into the local Indigenous community there. And that was something that I always wanted to be able to bring back into my life, especially into my professional life. And I was very happy to be able to do so.
I am curious. You're going to do Zach Krieger's, what is it called? Weapons. And Roy Lee told me you guys are filming like June, July-ish. What was it about that project that said, oh, I need to do this?
You sound like Radio Man right now, where you're like, you're going to be here and you're going to be doing it then. You're going to, you know what I mean?
No, I'm friendly with Roy.
Radio Man who has more information than all of us put together. Yes, man. Again, I talked to you, you and Kevin, I talked to that we're in the same room and it's just you and me. But the truth of the matter is that, I struggled through that decision for just obvious reasons. And I really liked his first movie, but it's still new for him and all that. And then I met him a couple of times. We talked through what he was thinking. It's a really good script, first of all. He's put together a really good cast, especially now. Like, Julia Gardner, who I love, Alden, who's great, who I did Hail Caesar with. There's a lot of really good people involved. This was one of the few times that when I finally went, okay, let's do this. And I think I was avoiding work anyway, just generally. And when I said, yes, let's do this, my choice just felt better and better and better and better with each following day. I'm super excited about doing this. We are doing it in May, June, July. And I just talked with him yesterday, and I'm serious when I say I think it's a really brilliant design of a script. Brilliant.
On that note, I will stop and say I will see you in less than a week at a bookstore.
Thank you, brother.
Cool, man. Hey, listen, great to see you and congrats on the season.